Hi, I've got a reminder about mindfulness for you today. Often we think about mindfulness as a technique, that's something we employ at a certain time in the day. I'm going to do some mindfulness now. Or when we're feeling really stressed and we want to calm down, sometimes we use mindfulness techniques at those times as well. Well, I walk every day. Every morning I take a walk. I have a dog, Molly, my little cabochon furry friend. But I walk with or without a dog. If she's staying with my son or my daughter, I always love to walk. And I noticed last week, whilst I was out walking, something came to me. I have this cul-de-sac on a road next, like along the main road from me. And it's about a 2-mile walk and it goes up a hill. I like it because it gives me a bit of a workout. And I was walking up there and I could suddenly saw, like I had a bird's eye view of me walking along, and I could overhear my thoughts. I was saying things like, oh, today I've got to do this, I've got to do that, that needs doing. Oh gosh, I've got to call them. I must remember to email them. And I was like, ooh. Not only that, I was also thinking of things that I've done in the past, whether it was, well, that was a great holiday. Well, I really enjoyed doing that. Or things that have happened that weren't so good. I wonder how I can improve that. How can I resolve that? So thinking about problems or thinking about, well, today's jobs, I've got to do this. And again, as I say, talking about tasking, or that even next week I must remember to, or I wonder what I can do about this issue. I don't know how to solve this. I don't know what to do. So I could feel and sense, I had all this mind chatter like going on. Like, where am I? Where am I? It was totally in my head, right, as I'm walking along. So I thought to myself, I'm going to really be present on my walk. I'm going to come into my body. What does the air feel like on my face? So I sense, what's the temperature? How does it feel? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it, it's summer here at the moment, early morning walks. It's like it was warm. It's like, is there a breeze? There was a bit of a breeze. I noticed that there's a breeze around. And I'm in the very humid northeast. And so I also like to sense, well, what's the humidity like? What's that up to? Is it feeling humid or, oh, this is a bit better this morning. It's a bit drier. It's not quite so humid. I also walk whether it's raining or whether it's dry. So feeling your skin, like, is there rain falling, kissing my face, or is it a dry day? So observing what I can feel on my skin and then taking it to my ears. What can I hear? What can I hear as I'm walking along? And there are the human noises, human-generated noises, things like cars or landscapers with leaf blowers, or the, what do you call them? The lawnmowers. They're out on their machines cutting the lawns and things. What are the human noises I can hear? But also the other noises, like, what are the birds? Can I hear birds singing? And taking a moment to tune into the birds and really hearing their songs, or hearing any insects, crickets or cicadas, whatever else it is I can hear, what other insects there might be, bees buzzing around, and tuning into the insects. So all of those sounds, the insects and the birds and whatever else you can hear. Are there any sounds of children playing, or people and women walking past me in conversation? People walking around. What can you really sense? What can you hear? So yes, going through all of those different things. And so whenever my mind then wanted to go back to, well, then I've got this to do and that must do that, and there's this to do, and I must go and buy some more milk or whatever that thing might be. And what do I fancy for dinner tonight? And have I got any salad? Fancy a bit of that for lunch? I mean, my mind goes round and round. And yeah, those who know me well know that I do think about food an awful lot. So it's very common for that to be going around in my head. But to really notice, okay, it's back. I'm back to thinking. That's okay. Be gentle with myself, I thought, and just go back to observing, what can I feel around me? And how do my feet feel? This is the other thing. How am I walking? I have this brilliant physical therapist that I work with when I get all snaggled up, and she helps me to helps my body to feel better. And she says to me, walk like you mean it. Walk like you mean it, Rachel. I don't know about you, but I have this ability to be able to walk along as if I'm sort of asleep, like I'm not really even inhabiting my body. I'm just kind of in a trance, like walking along. And so she taught me, well, reminded me to really think about the way I'm walking, like heel toe, feeling the heel going down and feeling the pushing off on my toes, feeling that on both of my feet as I'm walking, and feeling the energy throughout all of my body. So I'm not just this sort of limp thing hanging off a vertebral column walking along, but I'm in my body and I can feel my arms and feel my legs and walking like I mean it. So I do that too. And then I realized what a wonderful experience it is to go for a walk when I'm not walking along in all the craziness of my mind, and instead I'm walking along being fully present with the moment, the exact moment of everything that's going on around me. And then when I come back from those walks, I'm feeling refreshed. And I'm ready to just wait and see what pops into my mind. Oh, this is the next thing for me to attend to. This is the next step. Or spontaneously arrives. I need to email them. So I think my mind used to think that if I don't keep thinking about all of these things and keep them circulating round and round and round, swirling around and around and around, then I'm going to forget them. It's actually not the case at all. Just letting go of that overactive mind, all of those thoughts, and taking a precious break in my day to notice what's going on around me in the world, rather than being in this trance-like state where I'm kind of numb to the world. And the other thing I want to mention about that is I love walking on this cul-de-sac that's next to me, actually, and it's not a very safe road to walk on. I mean, it's not really dangerous, don't get me wrong, but people come flying up and down there, the residents included, and it's sort of 45 miles an hour. It is a 25 road. And there are some blind corners on it as well. So whenever I walk up and down that road, I never, ever put my headphones in. I'm never listening to anything on my phone. I'm always observing the sound of a car so I can jump up onto the verge, because they come herring down there on these blind corners, and people have had accidents, whether they're cycling or walking on that road. So I'm very aware of be safe when I'm walking there. So that's really what started to inspire me, listening to what was going on around me. Because I find that when I was walking in other places that weren't dangerous to me as a pedestrian, that I would often put in some podcast or some course that I was following, or listening to an audiobook, or listening to phone messages or something. I wasn't really present with where I was. And so walking up and down that cul-de-sac has really made me see, this is what I want to do everywhere that I'm walking. And I don't speak to people on the phone when I'm walking either, because again, it takes us, when you watch somebody doing that, and again, there's no judgment here. I've certainly done it plenty of times, but that as you watch them walking, it's as if they're in their own kind of like bubble. I almost even see this bubble of them focusing on somewhere else and just not being really present. And so as I was watching a young lady doing it yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, that's me when I'm walking along, if I'm in conversation with somebody. I totally miss the fact that, whoa, look at that flower, which brings me back to another point about looking at the amazing plants around us. Two things I want to talk about there. One of which is the flowers and the plants. I am a keen gardener, and in every house I've owned, I have created, well, I like to think of them as beautiful English gardens, where I love flowers because I love to paint flowers, and there's one of my paintings behind me with flowers, which is of my garden. And so anyway, I know a lot of plant names, or if I don't, I might be pondering, what's that? And trying to dig up the name from my memory, or trying to think where I've seen it. And so walking along and admiring flowers and shrubs can end up being a mental exercise for me and for other keen gardeners, I'm sure. Although I love them and I soak it in, my brain starts to get involved with the name, not just the common name, it has the Latin name that comes up. And so what I realized to myself when I was doing that was, be like a young child. Be like a little child, like a toddler who's wandering around in the world and sees a beautiful orange flower, yellow, purple flowers, red flowers, and has no clue what they're called, doesn't care what they're called, but they're simply admiring the beauty, loving the beauty. So that came to me. That's something I use all the time. And the other thing is that I find that trees wave at me. Yeah, slightly bonkers, maybe. But I'm happy in my state of communicating with trees in this way. You know how if the breeze catches the leaves sometimes, there's like a flutter. It's like a little Mexican wave kind of going through a certain clump of the leaves. They sort of vibrate and move in a certain way that feels to me like this tree is waving at me. And so if I can reach those leaves, I will certainly go up and gently touch them and say, hey, hi, it's lovely to see you. You look beautiful. And if they're up high, I just say that and send my energy up to the leaves that are on the tree that I can't reach. But I communicate with the tree. And I've also been known on a pretty regular basis to some trees just call to me. So I go up to them and either put my hand on the trunk and admire the trunk. The patterns on trunks are quite incredible on trees. Put my hand on it until I feel a connection with the tree and send my love to the tree. And I also hug trees. I am a tree hugger. It's true. So sometimes, not always, but sometimes I just feel really moved to hug a tree where there is this exchange of love. It isn't all about me sending love to the tree. There is an exchange. There is this beautiful exchange of energy, which I really love. And it always puts a smile on my face. I find it soothing and calming and a really lovely way to be in relationship with nature. So those are the key ways in which I choose to be really present using mindfulness tools when I'm out and about walking. And maybe if any of those inspire you, you can take them on board and give them a go yourself. And I hope that whatever you're doing today, you're having a fabulous day. It's been great to share some time with you. Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe to my channel or like on the video, leave a comment, and I will be with you again soon. Until next time, bye.